In the forgotten peaks of the Ashen Highlands, a mountain stirred, not from an earthquake or storm, but from something alive. A colossal shape uncurled from the stone itself, shedding layers of rock like dead skin. This was Diogo, a titan among giants, forged in silence and solitude, his skin thickened by the magic of the earth. Stone skin, an ancient defense passed down through myth. Wielding the massive dark star saber, a blade pulsing with corrupted cosmic energy, Diogo opened his eyes for the first time in centuries. Above him, the skies darkened as if the world itself knew what was coming. He wasn't just a brute. Behind the mountain-thick muscles was a genius mind, calculating, cold, and cunning. Whispers echoed through the highlands. A hero had crossed the ocean, drawn by rumors of a growing darkness. This challenger was known only as the Sharkborn, a hybrid creature fast in water, slower on land, but deadly with its aquatic agility and vicious claws. It was said to be bonded with a sharp-eyed hawk, its aerial companion and scout. But Diogo was ready. With one slow breath, he began his descent from the mountain, the very ground trembling with each step. His shadow stretched for miles, and with every blink, he shifted. Feathers, scales, fur. His body could mimic beasts from memory. Animal shapeshift, the old shamans called it, a forgotten ability now reborn in him. A war was coming, not just of strength, but of wills, and Diogo would meet it not as a man, but as a force of nature. Far across the windswept shores of the Eastern Blight, the waves parted with unnatural force. A sleek, predatory form erupted from beneath, walking upright on muscular legs, claws glistening, eyes wild with hunger. This was the hybrid warrior whispered of in coastal nightmares, the Sharkborn, known to no one by name, only by instinct. He stood tall, armored in salt-crusted scales that shimmered beneath the pale sun, breathing heavily through gill slits along his ribs. The air was not his kingdom, but he endured it. He had come for a single purpose, to kill the giant in the mountain. Bound to him by an oath of blood and spirit, his companion hawk circled high above, its cries slicing through the silence like a dagger. It saw what he couldn't, watched his flank, and signaled his path. The Sharkborn lacked polish. His intelligence was primal, often mocked as stupid, but his instincts were as sharp as any warforged mind. And with his titanium-hard flesh, he was not to be underestimated. He moved like a predator, low, silent, dangerous. His fighting style was chaotic but brutal, forged not in training but survival. He had fought leviathans in the sea and harpooned sky serpents that dared fly too close to his reef. But this enemy, Diogo, was something different, something ancient, something vast. Yet the Sharkborn didn't hesitate. He hunted upstream through canyons and cliffs, following footprints the size of small boats. At night he rested beneath trees, his pet hawk roosting close, his dreams haunted by shifting shadows, by beasts wearing strange skins. The enemy could change form, and the Sharkborn knew what that meant. Unpredictability. Still, he sharpened his claws. Still, he moved forward. Because beneath all the legend and mystery, he believed one thing above all: even mountains can bleed. The valley where they met had no name, just fractured boulders, dead trees, and the kind of silence that hangs before a storm. The giant, Diogo, stood like a walking mountain. His skin had hardened to a dull gray crust, thick as canyon walls, and crackling with deep volcanic veins. Each step thundered across the land, shaking the bones of the earth. He gripped the dark star saber in one hand, a colossal, jagged blade that shimmered with the glow of collapsing stars, bleeding shadows into daylight. But something stirred within him, a hunger, a feral itch beneath his stone shell. His gift, the power to shapeshift into beasts, twisted inside his blood. He had stalked as a panther, fought as a bear, struck as a venomous serpent. Now he waited, body coiled, form trembling between man and monster. From across the shattered plain came his challenger, the Sharkborn, eyes locked, no words exchanged. The hawk screamed overhead and dived. At that very instant, both warriors charged. one thundering like an avalanche, the other slicing through air like a harpoon. They collided with a sound like the earth itself cracking. The shark-born slashed with reckless fury, claws clashing against Diogo's stone hide. Sparks flew. Diogo swung the star saber, cleaving through the trees behind them when the shark-born dodged just in time. The air pulsed with energy, the scent of salt and iron thick between them. Blow after blow rained down. Stone fists met titanium flesh. The ground gave way beneath their war dance. Then, a shift. Diogo's form flickered, his skin melted into feathers, talons, fur, his body cycling through the beasts of the wild. He struck like a charging bull, then vanished into mist, reappearing as a predatory eagle mid-swoop, slashing with impossible precision. The shark-born roared and lunged, his fighting style wild, instinctual, unpredictable. It was fury against evolution, a creature of sea against a god of land, and neither seemed to yield. The battle had no spectators, no fanfare, only the scorched, trembling ground and the wind, howling like a mourning ghost. Diogo, the shape-shifting giant, towered in the aftermath. His body bore the scars of war, deep gashes in his stone skin, bruises blooming like storm clouds. But he stood tall. Around him, the shattered remnants of the battlefield smoked and smoldered. Across from him, the shark-born hero staggered, breath ragged, eyes wild. He had landed brutal strikes. His titanium frame withstood more punishment than any mortal should. But he was slipping. The lack of self-control, his fatal flaw, had taken over. His attacks grew sloppy, predictable. Rage clouded his judgment. Diogo saw it. In a heartbeat, he shifted again. His form surged into a silverback gorilla, dense with power, and slammed the shark-born into a jagged rock wall. Then, flowing like water, he morphed into a serpent and coiled around his opponent's throat. One breath later, he transformed again, becoming a hulking rhino, smashing the shark-born through the valley floor. The hawk screamed above, helpless. Diogo returned to his giant form, gripping the dark star saber with both hands. He looked down at his foe, beaten, gasping, but still trying to rise. There was no hesitation, no mercy. With one final swing, Diogo brought the saber down, cleaving through the air, a blur of shadow and cosmic fury. The ground lit up with impact. Dust erupted in a black cloud, swallowing them both. When it cleared, the shark-born lay still. His hawk circled above, then flew off into the dying sun. The battlefield was silent once more. Diogo, villain by nature, did not speak. He sheathed the blade across his back and walked into the fog, his body already shifting, claws melting into wings, fur into scales, stone into flesh. He vanished into legend, a phantom of war. And so the predator fell, not to a greater force, but to a mind sharpened by evolution and a warrior born to adapt. The age of beasts had ended. The reign of the shape-shifting giant had begun.